Some of them could be heavy this evening and wouldn't even be shocked with a rumble of thunder that'll continue into the overnight hours. Scattered rain for your Friday before we dry it out for the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Nelson Royals has top brands like Justin and Ariat, from work to western wear, boots and saddlery. Nelson Royals has it all. Mention WSIC and get 15% off your purchase. Visit Nelson Royals on Highway 150 in Mooresville or shop online at nelsonroyals.com.
Hey folks, Justin Kazepis, owner of WSIC and host of Good Morning LKN. Terminix has been locally owned and operated in the Carolinas for more than 75 years. WSIC trusts Terminix for pest control, and you should too. Visit trustterminix.com to get started today.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Good morning, Lake Norman. This is Officer Vinnie DiGerolamo with the Cornelius Police Department, filling in for Mayor Woody Washam on our weekly show About Town. I hope everyone is doing well, having a good week so far. So as you know, this is our segment. This is our public safety segment. I do it the second Thursday of every month, which I'm really excited about. And as you know, I have different guests on my show to talk about things that are happening in the town, but primarily things are happening within our Cornelius Police Department. So today I am very happy and lucky to have two very exciting guests with me. My first guest is Daniel Little. He is our communications director for the 911 Center, which we are proud to say that we have our 911 Center is based right in our police department, which is fantastic. A lot of these agencies go through a much bigger system that gets rerouted, but we have our own in-house 911 Center based in the police department. So I will let Daniel tell you more about that. But our second guest, again, very exciting, is Pastor Paul Turbedsky. He's our police department chaplain. He plays a very intricate role in our police department, speaking with the officers and the citizens, and he gives us such good spiritual and emotional support when we need it. So I will definitely like to talk to you more about that, Pastor Paul, and the things that you do for us. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Daniel Little. So Daniel, tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been with us and your main function as a director.
Well, let's see. I've been with the town of Cornelius in our department for 21 years. 15 of those years, I was a dispatcher. Wow. We call it telecommunicator now. That's the updated term, yeah, right. Since we do wear a lot of hats, so to speak.
Sure.
And then the last 5 years, I've been as a director of the department.
Great. Great.
Glad, love the job.
Oh,
love
yeah.
the people.
A lot of responsibility, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about how the dispatchers handle their daily responsibilities. Walk us through what a typical day would be like in the life of a telecommunicator.
Well, in our center, we do 12-hour shifts.
Okay.
So that's a long day. And the town built us a wonderful communications department to have our facilities there because we stay at our desk pretty much the entire 12 hours. It's a very demanding job, carries a lot of responsibility, people's lives that we're responsible for, so we take it very seriously. So we usually come in, hopefully, with a good night's sleep, start that day, with whatever comes our way, because we never know what that's going to be. Some days are a little bit lighter than other days, and sometimes we have a little bit of downtime because we're really paid to be ready when something happens, and we're paid to be 100% accuracy as much as possible with anything that we're dealing with the public or our officers.
Sure. So when the call comes in, now we dispatch for, and for the folks out there, to give you a little insight, we dispatch for our Cornelius Police Department and for Davidson College
Right.
Campus Police as well. Mm-hmm. So we've got a couple of different agencies that we're working with. And so walk me through, someone calls 911. What's the first step that we take in order to get that call dispatched out?
We confirm their location.
Okay.
Today is much better than it was many years ago. Cell phone technology has updated And our technology in the center, we have updated as well to what we call next gen technology. That's to support a lot of different ways of media coming into the department. So when we confirm your location, we try to see what the situation is, but we're already working on getting officers en route. And so we're doing multitasking.
Okay.
You're typing, you're listening. Sometimes you're also talking over the radio at the same time that you're talking to the person on the phone. So it's a very people with ADD do very well in our business.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. Okay. So a call comes into 911. We ask, it's the first thing we ask, you need fire, police, or medic. Now
Right.
we don't dispatch fire or medic, correct?
We do not. We have Mecklenburg County has its own medic department, fire
Okay.
and medic, so we transfer down to them. It's a very quick process. It's an almost immediate process, especially with the way the phone systems are now connected via internet and fiber.
Mm-hmm.
It's much faster.
Sure. So someone needs the police department for whatever the calls are. We radio that patrol unit that's in that zone, right? So
Right.
folks out there, we have 4 zones.
Mhm.
We have a patrol officer in each zone. So all depending on where your location is,
Correct.
that corresponding officer in that zone would respond to the call.
That's right. And we have an excellent response time.
Yeah. What is that response time?
It's usually within 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. It's
Wow.
extremely fast.
Wow, that's incredible, right?
We are blessed here to have our own, what we call it a PSAP, which is a primary safety answering point.
Okay.
There are 300 of us in the state of North Carolina. They no longer offer PSAP licensing. So Cornelius, to have our own PSAP is absolutely wonderful because the call comes to us first.
Sure.
We know what's going on in our town. Other agencies in the area have a lot going on. We have our own business here, and
Right.
we handle it that way. So
Wow.
we give better service that way.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's as I said before, we're very lucky to have our center right in the PD. That way, because you talk about relationships, right? So you talk about the officers get to know the dispatchers on that side of the shift, and then on the day shift, the night shift, they all kind of know each other. They know their call patterns, things like that, and the communication, right, is very, very well done.
Right.
Because there's a relationship there. There's a lot of rapport building. There's a lot of trust. So we talk about trust, right? We have to make sure that we have all the faith and the trust in the dispatchers that, one, they're giving us the right information.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to the proper location, and they try to give as much detail as they can without spending too much radio time, right? Or too much,
Right.
I don't know, what would you call that? Like too much radio
Just
chatter.
radio traffic. Yeah.
Radio traffic,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. So, but now you mentioned about this next gen. So how has the technology from then to now changed?
Well, analog technology was the old way of doing things.
Okay.
It was mostly copper lines that AT&T predominantly has the copper market.
Mhm.
They're the backbone in this area. So as what happened is the state put together what is called EZNet, which is the next gen technology that's going to support all types of media, including using your personal camera on your phone in the future. We'll be able to actually see what's going on, which will help bring our stress level down in our
Right.
business. Because sometimes we're just wondering what's going on based on what we're hearing. It causes a lot of stress.
Okay. And I'm sure that the computer system and the headsets and the communications is like top technology, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have the best. We have the best here. We updated about 3 years ago to EZNet system.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay. All right. Well, this is good stuff. This is it's so important to learn more about how these calls are dispatched, and we're definitely going to talk a little more about that when we come back. But we are getting really close to commercial break. But as soon as we come back, again, we're going to talk more about the communication. So we'll be right back, folks. Stay tuned. About Town.
Well, dry as we start out for our Thursday, but clouds increase as we work our way through the day. Temperatures warm into the mid and upper 60s for the afternoon. Get ready, though. More rain is on the way as we move into this evening and through the day on Friday. Scattered showers. Some of them could be heavy this evening, and Wouldn't even be shocked with a rumble of thunder that'll continue into the overnight hours. Scattered rain for your Friday before we dry it out for the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Listen, save, enjoy. The WSIC app, available now in your app store.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Friday night is the Live Under the Oaks Outdoor Concert Series at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. Grab your friends, family, and your lawn chairs as weekly music has returned to the plaza each Friday through October. The Matt Walsh performance kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville with Live Under the Oaks. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music on Saturday night. Thirsty Horses performs their brand of rock, pop, and American country from the 60s to today, with the show kicking off at 6 p.m. On Sunday, coming out for the Masters Final Round Watch Party. Call 704-872-9990 or visit the 500 Club online for more details. On Sunday, Two Trees Sports Bar and Grill in Denver is planning a daytime rock takeover. Minutes Past Midnight will bring their set of hard rock and 90s grunge to keep the high-energy vibe going all afternoon. Sunshine, cold drinks, and live rock await you this Sunday at Two Trees in Denver. The NHRA returns to ZMAX Dragway on April 25th through the 27th with the annual 4-Wide Nationals. See 40,000 horsepower at one time when drag racing's finest stars line up to compete 4-wide. Every ticket is a pit pass, so come early to see your favorite drivers and cars up close before they race at over 300 miles per hour. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for tickets and more information about the NHRA 4-Wide Nationals on April 25th through the 27th. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Now, more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Lake Norman. It's Officer Vinnie DiGerolamo with the Cornelius Police Department filling in for Mayor Woody Washam and About Town. If you're just joining us, as you know, this is the second Thursday of every month, so we talk about our Cornelius Police Department and our public safety edition of this show. And I have two guests with me. I have Daniel Little. He is our Director of Communications, which is the 911 Center here at the Cornelius Police Department. And we've been talking a little bit about the types of responsibilities that he has, how our 911 system works, what are some of the technology that has changed over the years. So we're going to get right back to Daniel, but I also have with me Pastor Paul Turbedsky. I'm sorry. I thought my last name was hard, like DiGerolamo was hard, but
well, it works. It goes both ways, Officer Vinnie.
Right, Pastor Paul. But anyway, so we're going to be talking to Pastor Paul in a minute about what his role is in our department as the chaplain, which is very important. So Daniel, we were talking about some of the technology and how it's changed. You had mentioned on our commercial break, you mentioned the call, how quickly we answer calls. And what was that? What did you say?
It's literally within just a few seconds. It's not under 30 seconds is what they want us to do, but it's actually much faster than that.
Wow.
And we do that 99.3% of the time.
Okay.
So
Wow,
that's
amazing.
Excellent. It's amazing. Yeah.
No, that's excellent. And again, we dispatch for Cornelius Police Department officers and Davidson College campus police as well.
That's right.
So I want to talk a little bit about and people are curious, right? What type of calls do we receive? Is it different from the day shift on the night shift? People are always curious about that. So kind of explain to me a little bit about what type of calls do we typically get?
Well, daytime is busier. There's more traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic accidents happen, little bump ups, and Also, 77 splits right through our town, and so we handle a lot of issues on 77 that come up. So during the day, it's a lot of traffic. People lockouts of their vehicles,
Right.
and then there can be a few, domestic type of things. Not as much in the daytime, it seems, but there is definitely a difference in the call volume as well as the types of calls that you receive day versus night.
Okay.
The nighttime is a little bit more. People are out to eat, having a great time, and it seems it could be any kind of a stressor that in this. There's lots of stresses, and people will often call us in stressful situations, and we work with the officer to help walk people through whatever their trouble is at the time. So it could be anything. It could be domestic related more at night. There's a lot of entertainment places in town and things like that. So there's it changes the culture a little bit at night. But
right. Okay. So now, again, we were just talking about how the whole system really works, right? So I call 911. It goes to your dispatcher. First thing we do is ask for a location, right? And then what's the emergency?
Exactly.
Right. What are you calling in about? We try to get as much detail as we can. We try to ask as many questions as we can because that information then has to be has to be conveyed over to the officer, right?
That's right.
And tell us about how that gets. So how does it go from our dispatcher to the actual officer in the zone?
Well, when you call 911, the first thing that happens, it comes into our system, and it carries over to our computer system, which is called a CAD, a computer-aided dispatch.
Okay.
CAD is a live computer system that every update happens live across the board in front of everyone, the officers in the field and anyone else that's logged on to the CAD. So people can see pretty much from the beginning that something is starting, what type of call it is. The officer in the zone will see his zone pop up. And he's already possibly, I don't know, I'm not in his car, but I imagine they're already en route at that point in time. And that's why our arrival time is the way it is.
I see. Okay.
And so we get the information, we code it based on whatever the situation is. If it's fire or medic, we often stay on that line to verify it because we respond to those as well to assist with traffic and other issues that we can assist fire with. In medic, different situations, cardiac arrests, everyone is going as fast as possible to get to a cardiac arrest. It's important that people always call 911, don't drive someone in that situation. Be sure you call us because we can get there literally within just a couple of minutes and start helping whoever it is that needs assistance.
Right. Okay. So we have the CAD system, for the folks out there who want to know, each police officer in their patrol car has this computer, and they're able to see the calls. They can check that they arrived, that they're on the scene, any kind of notes that have to be put in from the dispatcher. So it's like a live communication, but through computers, right?
Right.
And we're always on the radio. We're always communicating. Now, one thing I noticed too, that on traffic stops, right? You do a traffic stop, and as we know, traffic stops could be very typical. They could be, they could be risky as well. Like you don't know who you're stopping. It doesn't matter if it's daytime, nighttime, if it's male, female, old, young. It doesn't matter. There's still that potential risk of something could happen. So the dispatchers will check in with the officer. How frequently?
We check usually within just a few minutes on the first time, and based on what the situation is, we continue to check until that officer says, I don't need any further checks. I'm good.
Okay.
It is a very tense situation, and that's where so many things do happen are on traffic stops. And with an interstate going through your town, you never know. There's people transient just passing through that stop off, and you never know who that could be.
That's exactly right. So and as I said, again, that's the nice part about having our 911 center in the PD, because we're a big family, so we all look out for each other.
Absolutely.
And it's nice to know that those officers on that side of the squad of the shift know who their dispatchers are, and vice versa.
Right.
Now that's excellent. So, give us some stats. We've got some statistics that you had pulled up, and people want to know, how many calls are we really getting, Cornelius? Is it emergency calls? Is it non-emergency calls? Like, what's the difference?
Well, Cornelius is interesting. Based on a lot of other places that I've been, some people here really only want to call 911 if it's life or death. And that is the way it is in larger cities because their call volume is different. But to be a town of our size, we have quite a bit of call volume. Last year, we handled right at about 15,000 911 calls. And we have what we call admin lines, but I call them non-emergency lines.
Okay.
Those are right around 30,000. So 45,000 calls. And like I said earlier, the answering time on all those calls is within just a few seconds.
Right.
We have multiple lines. We have about 6 911 lines that come into our system. And we also have a backup plan. We partner with Pineville as our backup center.
Okay.
So if there's ever a situation where all the lines are loaded, Pineville picks up where we are, and then we have a third backup center from there, if necessary, that can pick up. So your call is going to be answered, and it should be answered pretty quickly because of the way the system works.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really amazing. So, 45,000 calls.
45,000.
45,000 in little Cornelius, right? You know,
Right.
but and I know this is a question that I get a lot because, you know, I go to the schools, I go to different places, I go to these crime prevention meetings, and they're like, well, we're not sure, you know, we don't want to bother the police, right? You know, we don't want to call 911 for something silly. Can you just confirm that it's not silly?
It's not
like
silly.
you need
it's
to
not
call.
silly here. You need to let us know.
Right.
911 is there to be efficient, to get you
Right.
the service that you need as soon as possible. You know, I understand where people are coming from. They're being very respectful, and Cornelius is extremely respectful of us. This town is wonderful to us, as you know. They care so much about our department.
Yes.
And in times of different types of situations, the community really just backs us up. And I just want to say thank you to everyone here for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with you on that. You know, they want to be respectful of our time, about the police officers' time. But folks, if you don't feel comfortable with something, it's usually not right.
Right. Go with your gut.
Yeah, go with your gut. Never be afraid to call 911 and say,
Right.
look, I don't know, this could be nothing, but I would like an officer to come here and just check on
Absolutely.
a suspicious person, a suspicious vehicle. There's been cars coming into my neighborhood. Like, whatever it is, don't be afraid to call 911. Now, you know, there's a thing called abusing 911 system. You know, you can't call and, you know, like make up fake things or whatever,
Right,
or
right.
just, you know, I mean, that's actually a crime, right?
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. But, I mean, use it to your advantage. That's what we're here for.
That's right. If you call some of our neighboring cities, if you're in that area, you'll see the difference. There's a lot of call volume going on, and the center that it goes to is answering as fast as they can.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of people. Cornelius, there again, we're blessed that we have our own, and we take it very seriously. So
Yeah. No, that's great. So the last part of this here, and you've given us a lot of information, which I'm sure the folks appreciate about, again, it's important to know how the police department functions. How does a call come in? How does the officer get dispatched? What happens after that? You know, there's a lot of note taking. There's a lot of communications that were clear. So let's talk about the training. I know these telecommunicators have to go through a very rigorous training. Are they certified through the state? We've got about a minute left.
yes, training happens almost the first year that you're with us. It takes a long time to go through all the scenarios. And on top of that, once you're able to navigate the system and we feel that you're on your feet pretty good, we then send you to what's called the Sheriff Standards. And the Sheriff Standards is the certification program that's required by the state. It is a statute that is in place that everyone has to go through a standardized training on top of what we do here. So there's a lot to it.
So it's ongoing training. Constantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, Daniel, thank you very much for that information.
Thank you.
It was very helpful. Folks, we will be right back with About Town. Officer Vinnie DiGerolamo here with the Cornelius Police Department. Stand by, folks.
Don't go anywhere. We'll return with more of Mayor Woody Washam and About Town in just a moment on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, dry as we start out for our Thursday, but clouds increase as we work our way through the day. Temperatures warm into the mid and upper 60s for the afternoon. Get ready, though. More rain is on the way as we move into this evening and through the day on Friday. Scattered showers. Some of them could be heavy this evening and wouldn't even be shocked with a rumble of thunder that'll continue into the overnight hours. Scattered rain for your Friday before we dry it out for the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Discover your next great experience at Kane Center for the Arts, where art and community come alive. From stunning gallery exhibits to captivating live performances, we're here to inspire, connect, and celebrate the arts. Visit kanearts.org.
Babe, dinner's ready.
Ladies.
Babe, dinner's ready.
Ever feel like your husband just isn't listening?
Dinner's ready.
Maybe he just can't hear.
Babe.
It's time to turn up the volume on life. Beltone in Mooresville and Cornelius can help with a free hearing test and expert solutions tailored for you. Call 877-HEAR-123 today. That's 877-HEAR-123. Don't wait. Call 877-432-7123 and bring back the sound of love.
A good soul isn't hard to find, especially if you're listening to WSIC on Tuesdays at 4.
Hello, and welcome to The Good Soul.
The Good Soul, hosted by Patty Alvarez, features real-world conversations that leave you feeling happy and rejuvenated.
Special buy Randy Marion Chevrolet of Statesville and Randy Marion Chevrolet of Mooresville 2024 brand new Chevrolet Malibus. These are the LTs starting at $19,988. That's right, $19,988 brand new. Not a pre-owned car. Malibus starting at $19,988. That's right, Statesville Chevy, Mooresville Chevy. Come see us today. Pick the color, drive it home. You got it. King of price, king of deals. Randy Marion Chevrolet of Statesville, Randy Marion Mooresville.
Harrison's is the home of work, Western, and wow! For nearly 30 years, our family has been boots on the ground when it comes to work. We have the largest selection of in-stock boots in the Carolinas and the best workwear brands like Harriet, Carhartt, and Wrangler. Find us on Norman Station Boulevard in Mooresville.
Welcome to a Bible Minute with Pastor Randy Mitchell from Temple Baptist Church in Statesville.
The Bible says in 1 John chapter 2, verse number 15, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." Folks, when God talks about loving the world is not just the breaking of the Ten Commandments. The world is a system, and the worldly system is orchestrated by Satan. It feeds off of our fleshly, sinful nature, and it's everything about us that wants to influence us and affect our life toward things that dishonor God. The next verse talks about the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. These are all the things, the categories of the love of the world. But obviously, a relationship with God is a love relationship. We have to make a choice. You can love the world or you can love God, but you can't do both.
Thanks for listening to a Bible Minute with Pastor Randy Mitchell here on WSIC.
'Tis the season. Bloom large at Drum Landscape Supply, your one-stop shop for everything you need this spring. Don't waste time running from store to store. Flowers, trees, mulch, and more. They've got you covered. Plus, they deliver. Visit drumlandscapesupply.com today.
Caregiving can be overwhelming, but fear not. Equity Health Primary Care is here to help. They specialize in personalized care for your loved ones. In clinic, at home, or virtually, they provide support, understanding, and resources to make the journey a little easier. Visit equityhealthcares.com.
Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
105.9, 100.7, WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Yesterday's huge Wall Street relief rally over the president's 90-day pause of the biggest tariffs on most nations lasted hours, but it isn't lasting days. Much different picture this morning, with 5 stocks down for each one up. Wall Street indexes are falling, Dow losing more than 2%, S&P 500 down 2.5%, NASDAQ down more than 3%. As the market weighs the damage already done by tariffs and tariff threats, and considers the chilling effect of ongoing tariff uncertainty on purchasing decisions by both businesses and consumers. Fear of being detained by border agents and anger over calls to annex Canada as part of the U.S. are two of the big reasons Canadians aren't crossing their southern border like they used to and spending their money here. Canadian government figures show the number of Canada to U.S. round-trip flights fell 13.5% in March versus last year, and land-based trips to the U.S., such as by car, tumbled 32%. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
The #1 station for people who say we're their favorite station.
WSIC.
About Town continues now. Here's your host, Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back, everybody. Officer Vinnie DiGerolamo here with the Cornelius Police Department, filling in for Mayor Woody Washam on our radio show About Town. Very excited to be here. As you know, we have this is our public safety segment of the show, and we talk about what's happening in the Cornelius Police Department in the town. And we've got a couple of guests. If you're just joining in, we had Daniel Little on our show. He is our 911 Director of Communications. That's basically our 911 center in the police department. He gave us a lot of great insight about what the responsibilities are for telecommunicators, and they do an amazing job for us. We're so blessed to have them right in our police department. So we make sure that the business owners and the residents and the citizens of Cornelius are safe, and they get the proper response time that they deserve if and when there's an emergency. So Daniel, again, thank you for being on our show. We really appreciate having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure working with this gentleman. Now, here's my other special guest. I have with me Pastor Paul. So, in town, everybody calls me Officer Vinnie because my name is really hard to pronounce, but we have Pastor Paul Turbedsky, which is not too bad, right? But
not too bad.
No. But so Pastor Paul is our police department's chaplain. So, Pastor, I'd like you just to kind of introduce yourself and tell us what you do for our police department. Just, a little background about who Pastor Paul is.
Okay, I'm a local guy, transplanted here from Pennsylvania.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Been here since 1996. Been on staff at Grace Covenant Church since 1998.
Wow.
And been with the police department the last 3 years serving as chaplain. And my primary role with the police department is to provide emotional and spiritual support to the officers, as well as citizens, the public that are involved in whatever situation that the police is called to.
Mm-hmm.
So I pray for the officers every day, pray for the department every day, also including praying for the public. They're in that prayer as well every single day in my prayers.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's amazing. So, and it's so important to have a chaplain, within a fire department or a police department. As a first responder, as we see a lot of different things that happen all the time. And sometimes our own mental health is so important because if we're not in the right place mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we can't provide the very best service to the public, right? If we have things that we're going through, we need a trusted advisor, a friend, someone that we can sit with in total confidence and just talk and just kind of get through things. And it's so important, again, especially in the first responder world. I mean, really for anybody. But what are some of the things that you would offer advice to, or what are some of the things that you would want the officers to come to you and talk about?
When I go on ride-alongs,
right,
usually scheduled ride-alongs, it's either for a 3-hour stretch or a 6-hour stretch,
right,
and sometimes that's a 6-hour one-on-one counseling session.
You're right, exactly,
or confessional.
Sure.
And all those conversations are kept in extreme confidence.
Of course,
and it's just kind of getting to know the officers individually. Why do they come into law enforcement? What most excites them about their job? What are their challenges? How's their home life?
Right.
What are their career aspirations down the road? And just also encouraging them in what they are doing. They are, as an officer, they are serving the public. It's not a job that just gives a paycheck, but it's a calling to protect and serve. And I just encourage them in that. And as being a chaplain, a man of God, I always encourage a measure of faith in their life. If they have that they would grow in it. If they don't, that they would consider having faith as part of their daily life, and just to be there for them. Sometimes the greatest thing that I can do is just have exercise the ministry of presence. Just showing up.
Right.
Maybe with a bottle of water. Maybe with a meal. Maybe just having that physical presence with the officers on a call. The other thing, too, is what I do with the citizens.
Right,
with the
exactly.
public, and serving the public. I'll get a call either from dispatch or from the officer themselves requesting my presence at a scene, and that's usually going to be a not so good day for somebody. It could be a drowning in the lake. It could be a suicide in a home. It could be an unexplained death of a loved one in a home. It could be at a terrible car wreck. And the on-scene officers see that there's a need for a chaplain by the way loved ones in the public is behaving, and I'll get a call.
Right.
And I will minister to those involved. Also being sure to minister to our officers, just checking with them. How are you doing?
Right.
How do you feel about this? How's this hitting you? With the people involved in the situation, they may be of age or gender or season of life that is very relatable to that officer, and it can trigger a response that's a little upsetting. So just checking in with the officers on that. How you doing? How you feeling? Things like that. So it's emotional, spiritual support.
Yeah.
all
Yeah. No,
around.
that's wonderful. And it's funny. We talked a little bit about I think right before the show starts. There's when something happens in the moment, it's in the moment, it happens, and then it's over, right? But what we don't do sometimes is we don't do that extra follow-up. Like, what do we have to do to make sure that the officer is okay days or weeks or even months after that happened? Again, some people, would you find, Pastor, that some people are not so, what's the word? Not so open to want to talk about things, or do you find that you have to do most of the follow-up or most of the intervention to say, hey, I'm just checking in on you to make sure that everything's okay? How are things going in your personal life? Or are they more inclined to just come to you and do that?
Well, a little bit of both.
Okay, good.
A little bit of both. When I first started, it was a lot of ministry of presence. Can I trust this guy?
Right, exactly.
He's never been in law enforcement. He's never wore a uniform. He's never been in the military. He's a pastor. He's a God guy.
Right.
Who is this guy?
Right.
So a lot of ministry of presence. Well, then when something occurs where my services are requested and needed, and they say, "Oh, this guy's okay."
Yeah.
So now I'm more approachable.
Sure.
And now when I go into a situation, I'm welcomed in much more. So it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely that thing where it's officers have to be, just as a pastor is, we're the calm in chaos.
Yes, exactly.
We bring the sunshine to a storm. So we have to be strong.
Right.
We have to exhibit that. And as an officer on a call, you've got to, as officers, you have to have that neutral ground, that presence of authority, but don't show emotion.
Right.
But yet you do.
Sure, of course.
At sometimes you do. And then when I come in, it's I can give you the opportunity. I give you permission to emote, to tell me that this really upset you, or
Sure.
I'm really mad for what that guy did to that woman, and
Right.
And it be a safe place.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's a mix. But as the more and more that I'm around with the officers, the more open communication there is, and we talk about things beyond the job as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a trust thing too, right?
Definitely big trust. You got to trust.
Pastor Paul, thank you. We are going to be right back with you. I have a few more questions for you. I'm sure the folks want to know. Folks, stand by. We'll be right back with more about Our Town.
We'll be back with more of About Town, hosted by Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam. Straight ahead on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, dry as we start out for our Thursday, but clouds increase as we work our way through the day. Temperatures warm into the mid and upper 60s for the afternoon. Get ready, though. More rain is on the way as we move into this evening and through the day on Friday. Scattered showers. Some of them could be heavy this evening and wouldn't even be shocked with a rumble of thunder that'll continue into the overnight hours. Scattered rain for your Friday before we dry it out for the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Friday night is the Live Under the Oaks Outdoor Concert Series at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. Grab your friends, family, and your lawn chairs as weekly music has returned to the plaza each Friday through October. The Matt Walsh performance kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville with Live Under the Oaks. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music on Saturday night. Thirsty Horses performs their brand of rock, pop, and American country from the 60s to today, with the show kicking off at 6 p.m. On Sunday, coming out for the Masters Final Round Watch Party. Call 704-872-9990 or visit the 500 Club online for more details. On Sunday, Two Trees Sports Bar and Grill in Denver is planning a daytime rock takeover. Minutes past midnight will bring their set of hard rock and 90s grunge to keep the high-energy vibe going all afternoon. Sunshine, cold drinks, and live rock await you this Sunday at Two Trees in Denver. The NHRA returns to ZMAX Dragway on April 25th through the 27th with the annual 4-Wide Nationals. See 40,000 horsepower at one time when drag racing's finest stars line up to compete 4-wide. Every ticket is a pit pass, so come early to see your favorite drivers and cars up close before they race at over 300 miles per hour. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for tickets and more information about the NHRA 4-Wide Nationals on April 25th through the 27th. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
MerleFest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Now, more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, everybody. About Town with Officer Vinnie DiGerolamo here at the Cornelius Police Department. This is our last segment here. It's our last section of the show. And we were just talking about, right before the commercial break, we were talking to Pastor Paul. He's our police department chaplain. But Pastor Paul serves as an emotional and spiritual support mentor. I really see you as a mentor for us. Someone who rides with the officers and someone who really just provides that sounding board, that listening. If we go through an experience, whether it's personal or professional, no matter what it is, you're our trusted guide that we come to and we can talk to. And, everybody needs someone to talk to. It's okay not to be okay. And that's one of the things we always talk about. But you also do some, other things. You're not just, in that role. But so we were talking about some of the roles and responsibilities that you have as our chaplain. So I'd like to pick up on that a little bit. And then we had mentioned about other things that you do outside of the department. There's other events and other memorial services and things that you are asked to attend. So walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, some of those things are most recently at the Veterans Day with Town of Cornelius. I was asked to give the invocation and benediction at that event right outside of Town Hall. The other thing is coming up, I believe it's Friday, May the 10th, the National Peace Officers Memorial Service in Charlotte.
Right.
I'm one of 4 chaplains asked to participate in that service, and I consider it quite an honor.
Sure.
To read scripture with comments, to uplift families who have experienced the death of a first responder, of a police officer.
Yeah.
So I don't take that lightly. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I've also went along with our chief and other officers to Swannanoa after Hurricane Helene,
right.
taking relief supplies.
Yes, you did.
Up there for that. I I try and make every National Night Out event
Yeah, right.
with the department, and to again just represent the department,
Sure.
help be a face to that, and also going to some of the neighborhoods where we do hot dogs and hamburgers, a cookout. Again,
Right.
just being that friendly face out there as chaplain for the police department,
Right.
and then just being being asked to lead prayers for Madalena Kojikari in their with her disappearance, and just the continued memorials and vigils that and remembrances that we have for her, to be asked to lead some times of prayer with that. Again, it's quite an honor, and I enjoy being used in those ways to serve the community and serve our families.
Yeah, yeah. As I mentioned before, you're a great asset to us and to the officers, and really all the citizens of Cornelius. Sometimes when we have a situation, it could be a domestic violence situation. It could be, as you mentioned before, there could be a death, or just something that needs a little more guidance, a little more support.
Yeah.
We try to support everyone. It doesn't matter what, if you call 911, and in my brain, it's an experience, right? Some more tragic and some more, not so tragic, which is good. But there are situations that we do need a little extra care and support, and you're always out there for us. I know we had a couple of that I personally been on, and you came right out and you talk to the families. You provide a little support. You give that glimmer of hope and say it's okay, and let's talk through it. And then we talked about like the follow up, right? About if an officer is experiencing something, your initial talk is always followed up by how are you doing? It could be weeks, it could be days, and things like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just and sometimes it's not a very good ending.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes it is, though, but sometimes the question follow up leads to another suggested plan of action,
Right.
and just helping officers with some of those personal things
Sure.
that they're struggling within their families or experiencing with their family members and loved ones, to help them. Other things that are kind of cool, though, when an officer has a baby,
Yeah.
and that they don't have, they experience the birth of a child
Right.
in their home.
Exactly.
As most of the officers are men, they be hard for them to have the baby themselves. But I always make sure to bless them with a gift.
Oh, that's nice.
The diapers, wipes, and a
Oh,
gift
yeah.
card for a meal,
Yeah.
to bless them with that.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to officiate weddings,
Right.
things like that. So those are one of the wonderful things that I get to do
Yes.
as part of serving the police department.
Yep. You were actually you did the wedding for our sergeant, right, Scott Lee?
Yes, I did. Yes,
That's
I
right.
did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Scott Lee is our sergeant in our division, and he got married. What's a year now? He got married last December,
And has a new baby.
and has a new baby.
Yeah,
Yep,
because
yep.
he got one of those gifts from
He got
me.
the care package.
He got
yep.
the care package.
That's right. He did. Yeah. That's awesome. So one of the last things that we want to talk about a little bit, Pastor, you said, give us the prayer that you say to the officers during our shift break.
Yeah. Anytime I'm there, I say this prayer for them. Plus, I say it on days that I'm not physically present.
Right.
But it's said every day, and it goes like this: Lord, we pray for peace in the streets and on the lake. We pray the public behave themselves on land and water. We pray that all come home to loved ones safe in body, mind, and spirit. Amen and amen.
Amen. That's
That's
amazing.
simple.
It's so simple, right?
But
so simple,
but rich,
rich, yeah.
with love and safety, and
Wow.
just want everyone to come home.
I know that's the goal, right? We all have families and loved ones. We want everyone to get home safely, whether you're in whether you're in law enforcement or you're in the fire services or you're just a citizen. It doesn't matter. You don't have to just be in law enforcement, but we want everyone just to live and to play peacefully, right? So,
Absolutely.
Well, Pastor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And I can tell you, you've been a very a very big part of our department, and we look forward to continue to have you with us, and in times of need and not times. We just love you hanging around the department and hanging out. Daniel, again, thank you for your time. You do an amazing job. I really say that genuinely.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, folks, we're coming to the end of the show, and now I get to talk a little bit, but not too much. I'm sure people don't want to hear me too much, but just a few things that are going on in our town. As a community engagement officer in town, I like to put these events together. We like to get the community together. It's so important that the public and the police department have a very good relationship, a trusting relationship. I love getting out and into the town and talking with the youth and the seniors and really anybody in the town who just need us. But a couple of really special things that are coming up, and you can always follow our events on our Facebook page, Instagram, on our website. But May 3rd, we're going to have a big shred event over at Town Hall. It's going to be pretty big. We got the fire department coming out. We're going to have some different vendors that are going to be there. And so if you got some old things and that you want to get rid of, I know people got tax returns from the 60s that they still have in their house, right? So we want to get rid of that. So please come by Town Hall on May 3rd. We are doing backed by popular demand, we're doing another Citizens Academy. This is a wonderful opportunity for our citizens to join our little mini police academy, if you will. It's every Tuesday night for 11 weeks. It's beginning on May 6th. Now, we're full, but we are going to run another one in September. But this is a great opportunity for you to come to the police department, meet all our instructors, our different divisions. We do traffic stops with you. We even get to take you to the shooting range and things like that, and we introduce you to our canines. And you kind of get a little working insight about who we are and what our department does, what the officers go through. And it's a lot of fun. And we bring people together. There's a lot of folks that live in the same neighborhood. They didn't even know that they live in the same neighborhood. And it's a camaraderie. It's just a team building thing. And then we build relationships for a lifetime after that. Of course, we do coffee with a cop. We do our pizza with the police, little things like that. Speaking of, now, Pastor, you're very involved with Grace Covenant Church, which we also have the Grace Covenant Academy. Correct?
Yes, with the school and the church.
Right, school and the church. So April 17th, which is next Thursday, we're doing a first responder night. The kids love that stuff. We're going to have all kinds of agencies. We're having our police boat there. We're bringing our SWAT Bearcat out. I'm going to be riding one of the little sport utility motorcycles that we have. We just love, kids love to come out and touch the trucks and to talk to the firemen and the police officers and things like that. So that's going to be a really nice
That's
event.
going to be a great event.
Oh, yeah.
The buzz with the students and teachers at the school it is so high. They're looking forward to it. And the staff at church, too, is like, well, I'm coming, too.
That's right, of course.
We're all coming out for that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. A few months back, I had did some, we go to the schools and we talk to the kids about, hey, drugs and drinking and driving and just, safety, things like that. And I promised them, I said, I promise in April, we're going to do something. We're going to come back with all our equipment, all our officers. And so Karen Powell is the principal there. She did an amazing job. And so we're all going to put it together. So there's going to be quite a few of us out there. Davidson, Huntersville, Highway Patrol's coming out, CMPD's coming out, ABC. So it's going to be exciting.
And then on the 22nd and 24th, the department's doing rapid deployment training.
Yes, that's right.
In the church school setting.
Yes, yeah, that's going to be exciting too. So we're really looking forward to that, and we do as much training as we can, and we thank Grace Covenant for that. But, well, gentlemen, I really appreciate you both being here on the show. This has been a wonderful segment, folks. I hope you enjoyed listening, and we will see you next time.
Serving you better than ever before.